No, man. I like the thing. I'm gonna take a. I can't seem to. I can't accumulate my thoughts right now. My brain's kind of all over the place. I like the four-man commentary. The problem is like, it feels really crazy, and but I think it works really well for the environment. You know what I mean? In that environment, I think it works all right. Four-man commentary didn't feel too hectic. I think they all work really well together. But the problem is the fuckers they are laughing their asses off the entire time. Like, they are making each other laugh like crazy. Like, they will not stop laughing like all fucking day. So that part is kind of whack, to be honest with you. That part's kind of whack. They're laughing like crazy, and it's just, they're fucking yucking it up all over the place. And it's just so much noise and so much laughter going through the microphone. It makes a lot of noise, and it really takes away from the shit that's going on. Now, here's the thing, though. I don't really mean that as a complaint. It actually works pretty well for this kind of a tournament, because this tournament is not esports. It is totally just some tournament that is really high profile with some really fucking big time killers in it, prestige, whatever. And I like that. It actually sets the tone for the tournament to be very friendly, very open, very unofficial, very informal. And I like that a lot about it. And so the four-man commentary in that light for Strongstyle looks really cool, and I like it. I like that they're laughing and stuff like that. The only times I didn't like it was I was trying to pay attention to the fights, and they were like kind of really going in at it. They were like all kind of yelling over each other and stuff. It was hard to really isolate what was going on, or like what people were trying to say and stuff. It doesn't happen too often, but it does happen when it was getting really hype. You know, some fights were just fucking hype out the window. Like when Bronson got completely clowned on by that other old dude, the Japanese old dude. He got totally 6-round brown, you know? He just totally blasted out, completely blown out. They were just losing their shit. They were just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, stuff like that, when things get really hype, it definitely creates a lot of noise, a lot of sound, and I think in more like esports setting that doesn't really work so well. I don't think. But in this one, it works great. I think it was pretty cool. Just in general, I think it's a cool idea too. I mean, I think they had a lot of commentators. The other thing, and it was one of the things I thought about quite a bit. The commentators that they had, like, it's really maybe it's just me. I don't know, but obviously I like the standard commentators, you know, the guys who always do it. Rip and Eris, you know, Rick's does pretty fun. I mean, Markman, they're all really good. You know, they have a lot of good commentators that we all know. But there are some dudes that I have not really heard of that were up there. And I don't mean to put, like, Bloodhawk into there, but I don't really hear Bloodhawk do commentary that much. But I want to exclude him from it because he actually does all right, I think. I mean, he does more, and I've seen him do stuff, so it's kind of like I give him a pass. I don't really think his commentary is that great. I don't really think he's that much of a commentator. I think he's pretty good at just kind of talking a little bit, which is fine. I mean, that's commentary, right? It's the small talk. But there was they had some European dudes that were there, and their small talk was not good. They had like Markman and I think maybe Rip. They had like Markman, no, it was Markman, it was Spooky. And you know, you always got a solid core of dudes with those guys. And then there was these two European guys, and just, they were not really getting that involved with stuff. Like, they weren't really getting interesting. They weren't really saying anything too interesting. They weren't really making with the funnies. They really weren't delivering. Now, here's the thing. I say that, but I think anybody who would just watch the tournament, you would probably say they did a fine job, right? So, on the one hand, I kind of want to sit here and be like, I didn't like the commentary. But I don't think it's very fair. I think actually I might be being really hard on these guys because I'm used to these experienced dudes You know, the common dudes that we see for Tekken, I'm used to seeing those guys. And they have kind of like a flamboyant sort of aerodynamic sense of yelling and shit and saying things and just yucking it up the whole time, and like their particular brand of jokes and humor. Like, I'm used to it, and I guess it kind of sets that level of expectation. So it's I just, and then you get these other guys that are in, and I don't know if they're even fresh-faced. I don't know if they've commentated before, but they really don't seem very, I guess maybe well-rounded in the deal. They didn't really come out as that solid of commentators. You know what I mean? It really just made it sound like they were there to fill up some sound wave. You know, they were just kind of there to fill up some sound. And then that was that. And because it was a four-man kind of situation, it really just made it sound like a bunch of weird shit that I couldn't really follow, you know? So I guess what I'm saying is the four-man thing works really well, but then you got the new or maybe just not well-known commentators. And the filler commentators. Yeah, filler commentators. That's kind of what it's like. But here's the thing. It could be because it's four-man, and that's why it's kind of exponentially kind of compounded on one another. It could be that maybe they're just not that good commentators for Tekken. I don't know. Maybe it's their style. Maybe I'm American and they're European, and you just don't mix your tea with your coffee. I don't know. But I don't. And here's the other thing. I'm being kind of hard on these guys, and I don't really think that's fair either, because like being a commentator can't be easy. It can't be easy. There's probably some kind of a crossover with streamer and commentator, but I think these guys have a hard job. And if they're not, I mean, I'm sitting here saying, yeah, they're new, they're filler, they're blah, 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 I never heard of them. Yeah, but everybody has to start somewhere, right? Everyone's got to commentate their first gig. Everybody's got to commentate their first handful of gigs, right? Like, you can't be that hard on them. And yet I can't help but be bored when they were talking. You know what I mean? And I hate pointing out all these fucking, you know, just the EU guys. It wasn't just the EU guys. It's just they're the ones that kind of pop in my head right away because I can identify them as, oh, the European guys. Yeah, it's easy for me to say that. There was quite a few, like half of the commentators they have were just like whatever. Even Bronson, he's the guy who leads the damn thing. I mean, he was getting along with all those guys there, but it felt more like he was there just to laugh into the mic. Like he was just losing his shit. Again, it's cool in the style of Strongstyle. I think it's great. But as like a commentator situation, like if I were to ask Sajam what he thought of the whole thing, like in a professional setting, if I asked Sajam, I'd be like, hey Sajam, what do you think of putting this shit on ESPN? You know, what if this was an ESPN thing and they, you know, they tried to straighten up their acts and shit? Kind of feel like he would be of a similar mind. He'd be like, there's just way too much shit being thrown out there. You know, the jump off, we've done it before in Street Fighter V, and you really got to have like a organized, kind of professional kind of feel to it. Otherwise, it all falls apart, you know? Maybe that's what I'm getting at. But on the other side of it is that I'm trying to say it must be hard being a commentator, because even I had aspirations at one point to learn Tekken enough to commentate it. But I certainly have never hit that point, and I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I could probably tell you what a hope kick looks like, but that's about it. You know, a commentator sucks if they say, let's go? Well, come on. I think Tasty Steve should get a little bit more praise than he does. I mean, everyone shits on Tasty Steve for his let's go, get hoip, you know, hope kicks. I think his brand of getting excited and his brand of commentary is different than what Tekken's probably used to. I like it, though. I think it's kind of cool. Definitely could turn it down a little bit, but I think it's great. I think it's great when he gets excited and he tries to rip Eris's arm off because he's fucking, you know, so excited about Tekken. I don't think Tekken is really his main thing. I think he's more of an anime guy. But I like that stuff. Here's the thing. Even though it's not my preferred kind of commentator, I respect it that it is a pretty interesting style, and he does a good job of fulfilling that style. I think even Eris can get behind that Tasty Steve does a good job. It's just that when Tasty Steve's style is kind of overriding like Eris or something, there's a problem. But when he's just being Tasty Steve on his own, he's great. When he's paired up with like Rip or other people that really feed into the hype, he's good. And then when he's like Eris, he just has to tone it down a bit, and that's really all there is to it. They get along, I'm sure. Really though, I wanted to turn it around on to put the spotlight really on new commentators, and just the idea of being a commentator when you're new. It's got to be very difficult to break into this shit, because I mean, you got fucking assholes like me sitting on a couch saying I could do a better job than these fuckers, when really I probably couldn't. I mean, I'd probably be just as bad as those guys. I'd probably be worse because I know less about the game than they do. But I still can't get past the fact that, you know, a lot of the time I'm bored. You know, these guys are boring to listen to. They're not really making with much. They're not saying a whole lot. They're not, I mean, at least when it was Bronson and the crew, the old crew, they were laughing their asses off, and it kind of made you want to laugh with them, right? It's just this really easygoing atmosphere. I mean, it almost kind of reminded me of like old school Dr. Sub-Zero shit, you know, just like fucking telling stories about, you know, doing hookers in the ass in Japan and then paying for it with like a Big Mac or some shit. Just weird ass stories, talking shit about Rennick or some shit. Just the funny things. It really kind of brought that sort of feel back. Shit was so weird in Third Strike. And I never even, like, I watched those videos were like relics of the past to me. Like, they were random videos out on the net. In any case, I like that a lot, but yeah, the new commentators stuff, that's tough. That's gotta be tough. I mean, that's expected of Bronson after the way he trolled Eris. Yeah, that's kind of true. I like Tasty Steve when he's paired with Eris because of the way they interact. Yeah, I mean, he chills out. It's really, really good. Not even past Blue Grandmaster. Nope, I'm not even I'm nowhere there. But I thought the commentary at Strongstyle was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, I definitely liked it. I didn't hate it. But I did get bored at quite a few sections when they didn't really have their A-team up and out. I don't know if that's because maybe these guys aren't great commentators, or if because, you know, they just, I don't know, maybe it's not really, they seem, a couple of them were really much more like professional tier, you know, they kind of acted like they were more formal. And I think that kind of clashed a bit with the informal setting that they kind of presented, so. Whatever the deal is, I liked it or not. I don't want to shit on any of these guys' efforts, too. I mean, that's a big, clear thing I want to make. I like that these guys try. I like that people try to be commentators. I think it's a good role. I think we need commentators. I think we probably need fresh blood commentators. But I don't know. I was kind of hoping they might bring the heat a little bit more. They were a lot more docile. I think maybe some people approach the commentary thing in a different light. Like Eris always says, he thinks it's good to kind of do the small talk thing, to kind of talk, kind of chat a little bit. But these other guys, I mean, it seems like they were trying to do it. They just didn't do it, like, very interestingly. They didn't really talk about a whole lot, so. Other than that, man, I mean, some of the fights were really dope. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I only put in, like, 6 or 7 hours. I'm actually going to go to bed. I'm going to wrap stream up here. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours almost now. And I'm going to listen to the rest of it. I'm going to fall asleep to the last 2 hours of Strongstyle. Did I ever check out that Majin commentary Eris mentioned for Guilty Gear? No, I didn't. Majin? You mean the guy, the Tekken Majin guy? I didn't know he did a commentary for Guilty Gear. No, I've never heard of that. I didn't even know he mentioned that. Was that during Strongstyle? Because like I said, I only caught like 7 hours of it. I gotta get the last 2 hours out. Maybe I can find it. Let me see if I can do like a... Let me Wikipedia that shit. Majin, Guilty Gear... Evo Japan commentary highlight, no chill. Majin Obama on commentary for Guilty Gear at Evo Japan 2018? Could be that.
You have to respect the items that come out. You have to pay attention just like he has to
little
pay
big
attention.
body coming into play there. Omokun dropping that belly. Looking for some way out of here without getting tagged by that level 3 in the air. There he goes. Gets tagged by it on the ground.
Nice read right there. You see that 6P chase.
And Nomito now going to put that
turns up the
cloud on.
fog machine. You still going to hold that.
Oh!
We're going swimming.
Kevin Spacey
What cup
super.
noodles? What cup noodles is it? Oh!
Hashtag me too!
That Johnny face.
Hellfire. Nage, you got a shot, but Omito, you got to be.
Oh, that's done. Oh, that's it.
Oh,
What's my name?
God.
Shoot the J.
Majin's a pretty interesting guy. He's done some commentaries, I think. Majin Obata. It was like in tears by the end of it. Oh my god. Jeez.
Shoot it. We are going to a final match, ladies and
Let's see
gentlemen.
if I can
Don't go with the defense.
Dude, one of the chips came toward the screen.
He had the game circle.
Oh, wow.
This guy has that kind of style, though. He's done this
Situation.
before.
Bombs away. Boston Marathon.
Get
Throw
back
him back
in
into
the
the
corner.
corner. Sit down.
Get your ass back in this corner.
2K low. Nage up 2 games on Kazunoko.
It ends there. Weird. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that was it. Anyway, Strongstyle was, I liked it. It was pretty cool. I've been trying to follow the antics of Congo Jack. I don't know if you ever noticed the guy, but Congo Jack, I believe he played Gigas, and now he plays Master Raven. He's actually a dude that is from, or like does all his training here in Seattle. So I didn't know that about the guy. I didn't know he was a Seattle guy. He was like from some other place, but then he moved to Seattle, and now he hangs out with the Tekken crew here. I don't actually know who the Tekken crew is for Northwest, for the Northwest area here. I have no idea. I don't even really know, like, I really don't know a lot of people into fighting games, right? It's really difficult to figure out who's from where, you know? Especially when you're watching these tournaments and shit. It all seems like everyone's from fucking California, no matter who you tune into. Either California or somewhere out in the East Coast, but... I've been trying to follow him. I actually watched him. I tried to watch his fights in the tournament because he's kind of a local. So it was really cool watching him make some progress. I don't think he advanced for tomorrow. I don't know if he'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure. He lost a match, but then he won 2 matches on stream. So I thought he was doing good. I don't know if Eris lost. He seemed like he lost his first match and then won 2 matches on stream. I didn't see what else happened. He swapped out. Did you see he swapped out the Goose? He got rid of the Goose and he moved on back to the Russian dictator. I don't even know the guy's Russian, but yeah, he moved out of Goose. I think he got put into losers. Yeah, I don't know what happened after that. Because I saw he fought twice with his Dragunov and managed to win 2 fights on stream that way. Pretty wild stuff. I feel bad. I mean, he's been playing the Geese for a long time, but he just he couldn't pull out anything. He did a really good job with his Dragunov, though. He just completely turned it up with his Dragunov. But he was always had a good Dragunov. That was generally his character. I think he was playing a lot of, except maybe King. I think when the game was still pre Fated Retribution, he played a lot of King. So he hasn't played Tekken enough to really be a competitor. It's true. He really doesn't do that. He's a streamer now, so he can't really be that competitive. But you know, for a guy like for Eris, I mean, he's got so much experience. It'd be a shame for him not to at least enter the tournament. Sounded like he was really hesitant. Sounded like he really didn't want to, but it's I mean, I understand though, because as a guy who doesn't know how to play Tekken, this is the other thing I was thinking about today. These tournaments sound really cool and stuff, and everybody seems to always have a good time when they're there, but I have a hard time really thinking about going to a tournament because, you know, you gotta spend some money to get there, you gotta spend some money to be there, and you gotta spend some money to enter the tournament if you want to play. So, I mean, you're throwing down quite a bit of money. And at the same time, you know, what are you there for? You know, you're going to be fighting some people that are really good. I mean, eventually you're going to hit the good guys, but maybe you'll just kind of flounder around in pools or something. And then after that, you're just going to be hanging around the venue, watching the event. And I don't know. If you didn't go with buddies, I don't really know what else you'd be doing. I guess you'd be meeting some people there. Maybe you can make a buddy or 2 while you're there. But I don't know. It doesn't really strike me as like the most amazing thing. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like a cool place to be, right? Like I keep thinking about this because my local is Northwest Majors. I've never gone, and the place that they host it, I want to say is less than an hour's drive away from where I'm at, which is nothing. I used to drive 2 hours to go, you know, game testing. I'll probably go to CEO this year since it's pretty close, right? So, like, I was thinking I would go to Northwest Majors next time it rolls around, but, you know, I keep thinking, like, why should I go? What's going to be like? Like, what am I going to do? Like, what's the deal, you know? And really, I'm not sure, because I don't have any buddies to go with, right? And so I'm going to go there, and I'm going to get fucking bobbed, because I'm a grandmaster at Tekken with my Fang. So I ain't going to be making it very far in pools. And then I don't know what happens. I mean, I get bopped out of the tournament, and then I sit around a college campus for a while. Like, you know me, I don't want to be anywhere near a school, if I could help it. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of weird. You're charismatic, you can meet some peeps. Maybe. I mean, I guess that's really what I'd be banking on, but I'm not sure. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing. Like, it's been a long time since I've ever really gone to a place to try and make buddies. Damn, it kicked me out of the game due to inactivity. Whatever, I'm really done playing. I mean, there are casuals during Tourney 2. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, I just I don't know. I mean, going there with the objective of... I guess that's the question. What's my objective? What am I going there for? Am I going to go there to get bopped in the tournament and then try and make some buddies? I guess that actually isn't too bad of an idea. You would have to pick up Tekken again, though. Yes, that is very true. And that's not likely to happen while I'm fucking around with Monster Hunter, right? This is not likely. You know, I got Monster Hunter. I want to get back to Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I barely even did anything with my Trunks. I bought the season pass for Street Fighter V. I'm waiting for Cody. Fucking, obviously Tekken 7's here. I think I can wipe For Honor off the map. I'm not really doing anything with that. I got a bunch of money in there. I grinded out the dailies for like a couple weeks, but I'm pretty much done on that. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the deal. If I were to go, it really is about kind of meeting people that are into the scene. I would like to see, I actually would like to see the people who play Tekken, professionally or real competitively. I'd like to meet those people who play in my area. Particularly dudes that go out to tournaments. I think there was a guy. What was his name? Tekken Masters, I think his name might have been. Tekken Monster, or I don't think it was Nate Monster or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name, the name anymore. It might have been Nate Monster, I think. But I feel like that's totally not it. It could have been like Tekken Master 2 or something like that. One of those guys, or somebody with that kind of a name, is a Seattleite. And he actually went to some shit and did some stuff. So it would be cool if I could go over to, I don't know, a Northwest Majors and meet some shit. And just meet some dudes that are like really fucking good at Tekken. But I don't know. I mean, is it a big draw? Like, I don't really know if it's that big of a draw. I like Tekken a lot. I just don't really know if I'm into the scene. I'm not really sure if I'm into the fighting game community scene enough to like actually go to a tournament. I love watching it on stream. I love talking about it. I love talking about it with anybody, It's because it's cool stuff. It's really interesting. I like seeing the people that are good and the people that are up and comers, but I like that for a lot of fighting games too. I even still kind of watch Street Fighter V because of all the all the old names that we're used to from Street Fighter 4. I like seeing them play. I just like seeing them play fighting games. I still like watching Flow too, if I can even admit to that. Can't even think of a Tekken Pro from Orlando, Florida, right? I am kind of bored of For Honor. I'm not actually bored of it. It's just that out of all the things I need to do or want to do, I put For Honor at the bottom list, so it's basically getting cut out. I still like playing it, though. I gotta be honest with you. I kind of miss it a little bit. But I got all these other really cool games to play. Seeing people into Tekken and etc., you could probably branch out on other games. It doesn't have to be about Tekken. Yeah, that's true. But, this is Seattle, so it's going to be fucking anime fighters all day. I wouldn't be surprised if I showed up in like a fucking BlazBlue cross anime, whatever, cross fan fiction started up. Yeah, it's Seattle, man. We got a fucking shit ton of weeaboos. We have a bunch of teriyaki places and probably a big ass Dragon Ball Fighter Z scene is probably forming as we speak. There's probably a huge scene for this game already. Ridiculous. Should just go to Atlanta, Georgia if I want my Tekken hangouts, right? But you know, the other thing is like, I guess I don't really need. It's really hard to kind of think about it, to be honest with you. I don't really need to physically go to a tournament. I don't, because I'm really happy with like the streaming thing. I like meeting people over the stream more than I like meeting people out in the world. But that's only because like I'm really trying to do this streaming thing, right? This is a unique stance to have where I'm burning my quan trying to keep this going. And if I didn't have this, if I just was content watching people stream, I think then maybe I'd be a little bit more compelled to actually communicate with real people in the real world and sit down at locals and get better and things like that. But since I love doing this, you know, I have to kind of weigh, you know, am I going to go hang out at a tournament and not really, you know, maybe get a lot done? I mean, it's not guaranteed that I'm going to meet anybody that cool there. Or do I just stream? You know, do I stream and hang out with people that are cool, that I like hanging out with, that we could talk shit together, and we're already as internet buddies as it can be? You know what I mean? Plus, it keeps me here, and it furthers my goal of being some big shot streamer someday. It's really, I don't know, it's kind of tough. Yeah, streaming eats up a lot of time. If you're trying to be something with it, it eats up a lot of time. If you're cool, having fun, and just streaming whenever you feel like, and you don't take it that seriously, it's a lot easier going. But, I mean, we're talking like, you know, if you're juggling a job, and then you're juggling streaming, and you don't take streaming that seriously, very easy to only stream like not even once a week, right? If that's what the deal is. But I like it a lot, so I do it. I want to do a lot more with it than just be some random dude that streams. I'm going to try. I've been trying to make it forever, though. You at least experience it once, though, to be honest. That's what Lord of Chaos says. And, you know, that guy, Lord of Chaos, actually goes to tournaments. He's a Canadian that goes to tournaments. He went to Canada Cup and shit like that. He's a big Street Fighter guy too, so he actually likes playing Street Fighter 5. And he goes to tournaments and stuff. He actually goes. And he's a young dude. I don't think he's even 21 yet. I think he might be 18. Crazy, right? Canada Cup. Yeah, he actually goes to that shit. He says it's great. He says you really do go there to just hang out with people that like fighting games. You don't really go there because, you know, everybody's going to get beat out in pools. That's just how it is. Unless you're like a professional guy, you're going to get beat. That doesn't really matter. That part doesn't matter. I see what he's coming from on that. I guess it'd be easier if I knew some people, I guess is really it. If I knew some buddies that were into it. That's the other thing. Like, for me, I got into video games in general, and a lot of my buddies were into games at first, but then they all branched out and grew up and got other shit. But I always loved my games, and I was always excited to play whatever. You know, I've had lots of fucking great video games that I've played throughout my life. And when I talk to my, you know, old school buddies about it, they're just like, yeah, we like talking about games, but we don't play any of them. Haven't touched a game since, you know, the first Call of Duty or the first Halos, because they're fucking doing all sorts of other stuff. But they still like games. You know, they're just very, very casual players. Yeah, so it's kind of like, for me, my video games have always been very isolated. It's always been just me and my video games. Me and my brother are, you know, that's just how we've always seen it. The video games were for us. It was a personal thing. When multiplayer became like more a standard, online multiplayer stuff, we really didn't think it was that cool because we didn't like playing with other people. We just liked playing our games the way that we played them. I thought streaming was shitty, and then the PS4 came out with streaming capabilities on it, and I was like, you know, I've been shitting on streaming for a while now. Here comes a PS4. It's got a built-in stream thing. Why don't I try it and see if I like it? And I remember I streamed Killzone Shadowfall, and I had 2 or 3 people join me. And we had a pretty good time, and we played some multiplayer matches together, and it just took off. You was a bigot. I was a bigot. I hated streaming. I thought it was... why would you watch someone play video games? You know, I have a brother...